Okay, now I'm going to select, I'm in model space. I'm going to go to one of the floor plans and we're going to start drawing. We're going to start with this concrete column here. Seems to be replicated throughout each floor plan. They go all the way up, so we're going to start here, something simple. I'm just going to measure. I just went up here to grab the measure tool. I want to know about how big to make this. Looks like it's about 2 foot by 4 foot. So I'm just going to grab my rectangle tool, click on this corner, and then drag down. I want to say 2 foot by 1 distance. Excuse me, sorry about that. I put 2 inches. Let's start that over. Grab the corner, 2 foot, tab, which locks in the horizontal distance, and then 4 foot, tab, enter. And you can type positive or negative numbers and it will put it in that direction. If I would have typed -4, it would have drawn it down here. And 2 is positive in this direction, positive in this direction, negative going back, negative going down. And you type in your numbers, so I'm just going to move this down to about there. I want to make sure that this is also, when I move this over here, I just want to make sure that when I place it, that I place it centered on the, so I want to grab the center point. I want it centered on the grid line, like that. Now I also want to make sure that I'm drawing in the right layer. Right now I'm drawing in the dimensions layer, which is not what I want. I want to go to walls here, and I want to make walls, well, we're just going to change this. Since this is highlighted, I can change it over here. Change the layer to walls. Now it's white. I don't really like white for my drawing. I'm going to change this to a different color. Choose cyan, something easy to see. Now I also, since I have this selected on walls, I want to make this layer current so that the next thing I draw will also be on this layer. Okay, sorry, just moving this a tad more. Now that I have that on the right layer, I also want to create a hatch for this, and then I'm just going to replicate it. I'm going to group it and replicate it. So I'm going to go to hatch. And I want to choose a concrete hatch pattern. And then just select inside this enclosed area. Now it's selecting 4 regions because it's choosing the grid lines to break this hatch, but that's okay. So I'm going to push enter. Now you can see the hatch when I highlight it here. You can see that concrete hatch. Now I want to just increase that a little bit, so I'm going to change the scale. Let's try 3. A little too much. We'll just go to 2. So there's our concrete. Now if I highlight both of these and type group, I've created a group on here. I want to make sure I'm not selecting my background scanned image. So if you recall, in one of the other videos we had selected this layer, which is the underlay layer, to be locked. It's not locked right now, so I want to make sure that's locked, so that when I'm moving and selecting objects, I don't accidentally select that background image. Now I'm going to start copying these. I'm just going to grab the center point. Triangle is the reference for the center point. I'm going to draw that over here. Make sure it's centered on the grid line. Okay, I had to undo that. I'm going to copy this again. Copy, center line to center line. Now I can just keep going down this grid. And since ortho lock is on, I know I'm not going to be moving it up and down. And I'm centering it on these grid lines because I know they're spaced out where I want them. It's going to look a little bit different than the image below, but I'm okay with that, because then everything will be synonymous with the other layers if I stay on this grid line, which is, the grid lines will be the same with all of the levels. Okay, now we've started drawing. So I'm going to copy those all the way around. If I want to rotate this, if I copy another one out here for this other elevation, and I want to rotate it, just type in the rotate tool, make your selection, hit a reference point, and then it'll orthogonally change to each cardinal direction. Or you can just type in 90. You can type in 90 and it switches it over. I'm going to move this back to a grid line. And then I can copy those down. Then I want to go back. We could start making more walls. So I want to keep it on this. I want to make this wall section. I want to make sure these line up, so I'm just going to create a different line here. We can join them later. Okay, I want to chamfer these together. Fillet, not chamfer, a zero chamfer, but I want to fillet those together so it joins that corner there. And now I want to measure to see how wide this wall is. I'd say it's about an 8-inch wall. So now I'm just gonna offset. I'm going to specify an offset distance of 8 inches. Then I'm going to select my wall, offset. So now if I drag this line all the way down, I'm going to drag it all the way down here, bring it all the way across, and then when I offset, it'll offset all of these distances. So I need to create a wall and then offset every time. I can do that offset of 8 inches all the way down. And then we can start moving those. Once we've drawn our walls in here, you can add a hatch, a fill. If I stay with concrete, just click inside the enclosed area and then enter or right click. Now we're starting to draw our walls. If we want to do glass here on the outside, we can do a lighter line type. We can create a windows here and then start drawing these windows. We'll space these out, but for now we're just gonna, for sake of the video, we're just gonna keep this going. So now I have this hard to see blue line here for my windows. I'm going to offset this one. It's going to be a lighter weight than our wall line type. And it's also going to be a different distance. I'll just say 2 inches. Enter. I do that again here. I'm going to say 2 inches, enter, select my line. Now it's offset. Enter. So I want to just show you what this is going to be looking like on paper space, and then we can adjust our line weights. You'll want to draw this whole plan that way. So you're going to draw all of these walls, all these columns. Draw everything you see in this region. Don't worry about the stuff down here, just this portion of the building. And we're on, which level are we on right now? Level 3. If I go to my level 3 paper space, so these lines are way too heavy for this window, so I'm going to go to my layer properties, go down to blue, my Windows layer, and instead of line weight default, I'm going to make this a lighter. Now you can barely see that. We'll have to test that, what it looks like. Once we hide this background image and we print to monochrome, plot to monochrome, then we can really start testing and seeing how these line weights look visually on our printed PDF. So start drawing those, and the next video I'll show you how to create a block for these doors, and maybe start drawing some of this stairs, some of that harder stuff.